It only matters what we do inside the building, man. It's only about those guys that's in there, the coaches. When you're having success, you're going to have people that's, going to talk about you, talk down there, going to hate on you. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing something right.
Oh, yes. Welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. Dan Hanzus here with Marc Sessler. Justin Graver on the ones and twos. It's the Monday night edition, and that was wide receiver Devonta Smith, Eagles star, who said, Mark, if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing something right. Do you find that in your own personal experiences?
I do. I've got a few. I wouldn't say legions of them, but I've got a few, and they mean it. So it keeps you on your toes. I get where he's coming from.
It drives you. Yeah. And if you can... if you could be an agitator, maybe that's enough in this world where you're just trying to make an imprint. The Eagles made an imprint on Monday night, defensively at least. 10-7 the final over the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. It was the Devonta Smith touchdown, a 36-yard reception on a throw from Jalen Hurts that was the difference in this game. That put the Eagles up 10-0 in the second half. The Packers finally get on the board in the fourth quarter to make it 10-7, but their rally falls short as their season continues to, just kind of like wander. I don't know. They seem pretty fake to me, the Packers right now. It's hard to see them in any other light. But let's talk about this from the Eagles side to start, Mark, and we'll get into the power rankings at the bottom of the show, and where the Eagles stack up, because I guess on one hand you could look at this game and you see yet another performance from the offense. You thought, maybe they had figured it out after they really got their running game going in their previous win. But this game they were right back to kind of struggling here. They finish with 294 yards of offense. They average less than 5 yards a play. Barkley is held to just 60 yards rushing. Hurts just 183 through the air. But I got to say this for the Eagles. They're so battle tested that they tend to win these types of games. And especially against a team like the Packers that's not playing its A game and is missing opportunities, the Eagles will get you in the end when you play like that.
Yeah. This game was also, I looked up the temperature in Green Bay in the fourth quarter. And it was 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Suddenly, I thought it would take a little bit more time to get there, weather-wise, but I think that matters to some degree. But it felt like a vice grip defensive contest. You get one of these every autumn. It feels like two people trapped under a car. But it was like Jeff Hafley's Green Bay defense did a lot to stifle the Eagles. But then it was one of those games where you just need one of those drives. And it happened when Saquon Barkley went 41 yards. It's a two-play drive. And then Devonta Smith, who we just heard from, gets the 36-yard touchdown. It's like, cool, we're going to win now. And that's kind of like all it took. It could have been Green Bay's game at the end, had things been a little bit different. But you're right, the Eagles are survivors, and they just find a way to win these strange little games. But I know that what Nick Sirianni did at the end of that game was on your radar. I know it was. Tell me it was not.
I mean, I guess it was definitely on Troy Aikman and Joe Buck's radar. It was dumb. I mean, they and if you don't know what happened, the Eagles had the ball fourth down. I think they were around the 40-yard line. Justin, maybe you can double check. They had fourth and long in Packers territory. The Packers had no timeouts, less than a minute on the clock. And the smart play, obviously, in this situation, especially in a 10-7 game where Green Bay had struggled to get any type of continuity on offense, you punt the ball away, you pin them back, and the game's over, essentially. But instead, Sirianni not only goes for it, he drops back. It was a 4th and 6 from the Green Bay 35. Thank you. So rather than attempt the field goal, which you don't, because that would only put you up 6, you could either go for it or you punt it away, and your defense has been kicking ass all game, finishes the game off. Sirianni instead goes deep to A.J. Brown and gets knocked away. But you know what? Even after that happened, I didn't have any feeling that the Packers were going to make the play that they needed to make in this game, because this is really, I thought it was kind of symbolic, this game, of what we've seen from Green Bay for over a month now, where they do, in that situation, they got a completion to put them near midfield, which was giving Brandon McManus a shot, I guess. And they bring him out for a 64-yard attempt in, cold and blustery conditions. He's got a bad leg. And I'm saying to myself, what are they doing here? I think there was 8 or 9 seconds left. You had a chance to run a play, run a quick out, make this at least have a chance. And what happens? They actually blow the play dead on a timeout, and you see McManus get the kickoff, and you see it fall short. So now we know he can't make it, right?
Yeah.
Or there's a very good chance he can't make it. So they do. Then they bring out Jordan Love. This is just like the Packers, man. The operation doesn't feel tight right now. And then they go to attempt a quick out to pick up a few yards. It's the Eagles have diagnosed what they're trying to do. It's not competitive. He sails the pass out of bounds, Jordan Love. And then McManus, I don't know what his second attempt was, but it wasn't even close. So yeah, Sirianni.
I think it hit a fan. It was way out of
Sirianni. I'm not a big Sirianni fan. Everybody knows that on the show, and I'm still not a big Sirianni fan. And that was an unnecessary risk he took. But this Packers team, I mean, you want to talk about, the possession before they get the ball back at their own 10 with 2:18 to go and 2 timeouts remaining. And how many times, Mark, did this team get to about midfield and then just peter out? And in this situation, and this really was the game, Josh Jacobs on 4th and short gets swallowed up for a 4-yard loss, fumbles the ball away to boot, and that was kind of the game. And in a nutshell, Green Bay's offense on the day. And
that play, it was Jalen Phillips making a major impact in that play. He was huge early. He was huge late in the game. Like it's sort of it's a trope at this point, but it was a Howie Roseman trade deadline acquisition who fits right into Vic Fangio's defense and came in days later and made a major impact. And it's like the Eagles keep doing these things over and over. Like he was the perfect addition. So yeah, I think it's like the Green Bay Packers, to me, I know I obviously was really high on them early in the season. They're mystifying. You're at home in your weather, the kind of weather you want to play in. You've got like all your guys healthy, and you can't get anything done here. It's a pretty bad loss, and it kind of just leaves you feeling like, yep, there's a bookend to this team, and it's not in February.
It is a reminder, too, because we all do it, right? They came out of the gates fast in the first 2 weeks, and it was like, oh, yeah, this is it. This is the Super Bowl team. But they certainly haven't looked like this for some time. And, in addition to that fourth and goal stop and the way that last sequence played out, you have that really bad Bo Melton drop on 4th down when the game was 3-0 with 4:40 to play in the third quarter. You had some misses from Jordan Love in this game. He just wasn't as sharp as he needed to be. At one point, I thought this was also kind of told you a lot because Matt LaFleur was not happy. You could see the steam coming out of his ears at the end of this game. After one fruitless Green Bay possession in this game, ESPN cameras caught him with his back turned to the action while the defense is on the field, and he's back by the benches. Do you have this, Justin? I think somebody tweeted it out. And he's just like studying his iPad. And I think he's an offensive minded coach, and he's just studying his iPad, trying to figure out what to do, how to fix this. This was midway through the second quarter. And I don't know, man, like you could tell the operation is not tight in Green Bay. And I don't know, like they still have time to figure it out, but you take a look at this now. They've now dropped to 3rd place in this division. They're hanging on by a thread now. That I think right now they're in the 7th. They're the 7th seed and final seed in the NFC. The Bears have now jumped them. The Lions are, pulling away from them. I'm curious where this team goes from here because it's been on our radar for a while. Like who are these Packers? Is there something missing? And this was, again, a sign that there is something missing to this team. And on the injury side, Mark, they didn't have everybody. They didn't have their young wide receiver, Matthew Golden.
No, you're right.
They lost Romeo Doubs in the game to a chest injury. And then their center, keep an eye on this one, Elgin Jenkins, suffers an ankle injury. And after the game, LaFleur said it didn't look good So that's not a great sign. You lose the pivot there. Right tackle for the Eagles, Lane Johnson. He went to the locker room with an ankle injury, but he returned in the fourth quarter. So that just shows the toughness. And the Eagles host the Lions on Sunday Night Football. So nice little setup there. Short week for them, though.
Yep. And I'd say one thing about the Green Bay Packers. So you go to the Giants, cool. But then you face the crucible of the Vikings, Lions, and Bears. You still have the Broncos on your schedule, the Ravens, and another tilt with the Vikings. So we're going to find out. And like it feels like a classic Mark predicts team in August and team falls off the side of a building. But I don't think it's that chaotic. But this was a concerning.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Pretty concerning tumble tonight.
It's whether it's a Sessler curse or not, I don't know. But like as the vibes, if you think about where the vibes were in like week 3, say, compared to where they are now, this team there's something missing. And the whole idea was that they were supposed to have everything lined up when Parsons arrived. But this is another, again, don't miss me with if you're a real ball knower, you're studying the tape and Micah Parsons is doing all these different things that make him worth every penny, but make a huge play in this game, dude. Like, go get the quarterback, knock the ball out, do something to pick up this team, and they couldn't get that either, as well as the defense played. I don't want to put anything on the Green Bay defense in this game. They were missing somebody stepping up and making a play, whether it's special teams or somebody in the secondary or a pass rusher. Other than that early fumble on the first Eagles drive, the Packers were unable to make any type of splash plays in this game, and they were just flat. Just a weird spot to be flat. You have the defending champions in your building on Monday Night Football, and you go home a 10-7 loser.
I think all of us felt like we understood an hour and a half in that we were watching a weird, kind of zany, unusual, bizarre, wintry game. And I'll say one thing I love about the Aikman-Buck duo. Aikman refuses to enjoy analytical decisions. Like, he'll get his little dig in there on whenever something comes up and there's a 4th and whatever, and we've got to go for it here at the 49-yard line. I know that he does not agree in his heart with it. But he's willing to now because he knows he's been snowed under by everything else. And, we've got LaFleur on that little Microsoft tablet, probably playing ESPN solitaire at this point. We don't know what he's doing, but like Aikman is just like, he's not with it. And I love that.
By the way, what is going on with ESPN?
I don't know.
What is it? I mean, this ESPN YouTube, for the second straight week, I'm watching a game on a damn iPad on a tablet myself. At one point, it goes to commercial. I'm watching it through the NFL app, and it goes to commercial, and it's an ESPN bet commercial. And I'm like, I thought they shuttered that thing last week. You got Stephen A. Smith sitting upstairs with Jerry Jones. You got Scandal rocking the company. You got all sorts of things going on, and we're 2 weeks straight not able to watch the game on YouTube TV, and I just hate how, things like this, it's always the fan that gets screwed. Like,
right.
It's us. We're the ones that are dealing with it. And,
we already paid for
bad
it.
Luck.
We already paid for it and they took it away. And I know Justin, like I spoke with Justin during the game, and it's like with the app that we use, because it's like, this is our job. Like, fine, I'll sink money into it. You cannot once the game, you cannot reverse. You cannot go back.
No, it was like watching a game in 1993 or something.
Yeah.
It was it's annoying. By the way, Micah Parsons had 2 tackles, 1 solo. No quarterback hits. No tackles for loss. Obviously no sacks.
That kind of night.
I don't know. Take a look at it. Oh, what we got?
Yeah, baby. I locked this one up. Let's
Nice,
go, Philly.
You needed that.
Yeah, I did.
You needed that.
Am I the only? I'm the only one that lost my failed lock. What is this?
You're a little bit of a lone wolf this week. Sorry, Mark. We'll get to that on the Thursday show. I'm just checking in, and again, I know it's not just about sex. Blah blah blah. Micah Parsons was greeted as a Greek god when he was traded, and everybody, the windmill dunks and the Cowboys. And I'm not saying they weren't deserved, but he's got 10 tackles this year and 6.5 sacks. No forced fumbles. This is that's not good enough. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a Hall of Fame level terror. They need more. Packers need more. They need more from their big stars. And we'll get to the Eagles some more in power rankings. I promise, Eagles fans. Don't get pissed. Don't get pissed. Just enjoy it. Enjoy that you have a team that finds a way, a champion that finds a way. That's nice. It's not always pretty, but it's nice. All right, let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll do a little bit of news. We had a dismissal, Mark.
Yes, we did.
Remember at the old NFL media days, don't say fired. Don't say fired.
Well, among 150, words and phrases we couldn't say, that was one of them, yeah.
Don't say it.
We're a little salty tonight, let's be honest.
That's coming up next. So stay right there. We'll be right back. Oh, baby, fall is here. Autumn, as some call it, and that weather keeps you guessing. 1 minute it's sunny, the next it's sideways rain, blurg. That's why I'm all about True Work. It's performance workwear built like it matters, because it does, Cessy.
Yes, True Work was started by a trade professional who got tired of heavy, soggy gear slowing him down, so he designed something better, okay? Every piece uses advanced performance fabrics that move with you, keep you dry, and hold up through long days and rough conditions. TrueWork's been tested on real job sites by real pros, and with over 50,000 five-star reviews, the results speak for themselves. My go-to lately is the T2 Work Pant. Durable, flexible, water-resistant, and built for whatever the job or the weather throws at me. If I wasn't hosting a podcast, Dan, these are the work pants I would be wearing every day, although I do wear them most days.
Yeah, old soggy Sessler, no more. Upgrade your day with workwear built like it matters. Get 15% off your first order at truework.com with code HTC. That's code HTC at TRUEWERK.com.
Okay, guys, it's 2025. Those days of only going to the doctor for emergencies are over. No more waiting until, the night sweats turn to all-day sweats, or your fingers go numb texting, "I'm fine," Dan.
Yeah, I remember those texts in the old days, Mark, but no more. It's time to take our health seriously and get things checked out when we need to. That's where ZocDoc comes in. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and instantly book an appointment. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are nearby, and fit your schedule. Plus, see verified patient reviews so you know you're in good hands. ZocDoc makes it easy to find care for anything from primary care to dental, therapy, dermatology, urgent care, and more. And you can see real appointment openings, then book right on the spot. Most visits happen fast, within 24 to 72 hours, and sometimes even in the same day. Sessler, save them fingers.
Yeah, the other week I woke up with a sore throat. It seems like it happens to kids, happened to me, an adult. ZocDoc made it so easy. I just got a quick appointment. I was in there within 24 hours. And in LA, that's not always easy to navigate. And they made it as simple as possible. Bang, A to Z.
Think about that. Sessler's vocal cords were in danger. He's a podcaster. He's a very important person. Anyway, stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/heed to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/heed, ZocDoc.com/heed. All right, we are back. Yeah, would have been awesome if Sirianni somehow got them beat with that decision. But
for you,
I'm not the only one that feels this way.
You're not the only one, but it wouldn't have been awesome.
I know in a vacuum, it seems like Dan's the only one that would like to see Sirianni get a comeuppance. But there are others that thought that might have been delicious little theater. But he survives for another week.
It would have been just if he had tumbled in the team and fallen apart because of that decision. Like, it would have been good theater for all of us and a lesson learned. But I think it would have been more delicious of a morsel for you to chew on.
What's the logic there? I still don't get. So was the fear there would be a special teams malfunction on the punt? Obviously, the field goal wouldn't have made sense because of the cold conditions and all that, but it just that's like a no-brainer to
33 seconds
back
with no timeout.
No timeouts. I mean,
like, was it a flex where it's like, we're going to get this thing, we're going to bomb it downfield, and like we're just going to show the country and other countries?
I think that's part of his style. I think, and then if it works, you get that type of look at this team, they're fearless and all that. But when it doesn't work out, you put yourself in danger. But I guess to his credit and Big Dom and everybody else over there, they knew what team they were playing on Monday night, and that Packer team didn't have a big moment in them. All right, let's do some news.
Yeah, but it hasn't been. So, it was another tough loss. I believe in the guys we have, people in the room, coaches and players. But we lost another tough one, Connor. So, you got to start doing it.
Not Connor Orr. Yeah, I saw that press conference, and I was thinking as I was watching it, Daboll's a little dead behind the eyes. Whenever the coach is saying stuff like, yep, just another tough loss.
and also whenever the coach uses the first name of the reporter, you know that there's some tension in the air and within the heart.
Yeah, and there certainly was tension after the New York Giants blew yet another double-digit second half lead in a crushing road loss, this time to the Chicago Bears. And, I said it on the Sunday show as I was watching that game, because that was one of my games. I was like, this guy can't be in the building anymore. He's just, I thought that decision, it kind of, it's one play, but it really, to me, got him fired. Like when he decided to kick the field goal at the half-yard line, to go up 10, knowing what he should have known about his team, it showed that he was coaching scared, that he didn't have a feel for his team and didn't have any type of killer instinct. And, knowing this team's history and the games that they've blown this year, it just showed that like this is never going to work. So I don't know if if the Maras ended up having the same viewpoint on it, but sure enough, he was cut loose on Monday. The New York Giants fired their head coach. And Joe Shane will remain the team's general manager and lead the search for the next head coach. Here is a missive from Giants Coner John Mara, who is one of the reasons some people thought that Daboll might survive this season at the very least, because the health issues of John Mara. But obviously the Giants decided they had to act. So the co-owner, Mara, and Steve Tisch said Monday in a joint statement, "The past few seasons have been nothing short of disappointing, and we have not met our expectations for this franchise. We understand the frustrations of our fans, and we will work to deliver a significantly improved product." Assistant head coach and dismissive, Justin. Assistant head coach and offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will serve as the interim coach. He's been in the mix for a bunch of jobs over the years. Your thoughts, Mark, on when you heard this news? Daboll and the Giants 11-33 since 2022.
Yeah, I think back to his first season with the team when they were rising and there was a lot of fire and they were winning games, and he was coach of the year. And there's this clip of him, just marching up and down the sideline after a win and like hugging players and pumping fists. And it was like, wow, this feels like Giants football has exploded. And then you go, it's because this is a case study of how coaches get fired at this point, because it gave me faith in him. And I met him once and I really liked him, but then you go 2-8, you start 3 seasons in a row at 2-8, and it's untenable. And we both have a bunch of Giants fans who are friends from our East Coast upbringing, right? And they are going nuts. To a man, I could not find you on the globe like a Giants fan that I know that wanted him to stay. And it's just like you're undone. You had a chance, and which you created controversy with, like Wink Martindale, to fire basically half your staff, bring in a new staff. That didn't work. You have issues that have caused fines with the health of your quarterback in terms of the NFL's concussion policy. It's just a lot of red marks at this point. Like when we talk about checking boxes, like he just checked a lot of boxes where it's like, you run out of time. You run out of time. And we wish you well. The Bills don't want you, from what we understand. They're not going to bring you in. That was whispered about. You're going to work again because that's what happens in the NFL, but you're not going to work for the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know how this league works. He could be thriving somewhere in 2 years as an offensive coordinator. That's how he got this job in the first place. But in this position, it just wasn't working. You thought it did feel like when Jackson Dart took off last month that it might have saved Daboll because he could align himself. And it did cross my mind if the head injuries that Dart has had and the fine that Daboll had for going into the medical tent and trying to get Dart back in the game as fast as possible. If that played into this a little bit as well, just like can we trust this guy with our prized possession, our first round pick? There is a moment, and every Giants fan knows it, because Tom Coughlin was such an important figure in this organization, and he was, of course, the head coach for both of the upset victories over the Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And when he got fired several years back now, there's a moment where he comes down off the stage from the podium and he blows off John Mara, who was ready to give him a handshake, and he took off. And it was very classic Coughlin, old school guy who thought he was disrespected and deserved more time. And since that moment, the head coaches, Ben McAdoo, Daboll, Joe Judge, Pat Shurmur, I mean, it has been just a carousel of guys who are not fit for the job, crumble under in the spotlight, meltdowns, and Daboll, he just wasn't the guy. So now the Giants this was the right move, I thought, Mark. At least what you do is you get in front of it, and now the team can really have an approach and get ahead of the other teams that are still deciding on this. But it's a tough spot for the organization, because like people like you and Connor, for instance, and many other people saw the Giants as a team that could be on the rise this year, and instead they're 2-8 and they just fired their coach, and they're lost their wide receiver to an ACL. They lost Cam Scatterbo to a broken leg, and now Dart is in the concussion protocol. It's just bleak.
It is. And I think part of what you have to pack into Daboll's experience is that he's had so many injuries at so many positions. But I will say this, it's a great job. I really think it's a great job for the players you just mentioned that they're injured right now, but I think it's a very attractive place for candidates. And there's a lot of young talent there, and he couldn't turn the key on that. But that doesn't mean that another coach could not. And I really do think that my optimism and Connor's optimism was about some of what we saw in terms of the roster and the potential. I think it's there. And Connor, and we'll talk to him about this later in the week, but he put out an article on SI about coaching candidates, and it's a really unusual crop of candidates. There's a lot of college people in there. It isn't just there's this obvious 2 or 3 Jim Harbaugh types sitting out there, or John Harbaugh types. It's a weird crew. So I think getting ahead of it is smart for any team at this point. If you're going to fire your GM, if you're the Dolphins, or you fire your coach if the Giants, cool. If you're Cleveland and you're going to fire Kevin Stefanski, at the end of the year, you're just 7 weeks or 8 weeks behind everyone. Get ahead of it. Do it now.
I agree with you on the Giants job, despite the fact that they've been one of the worst teams in football. Look at their record. It's around where the Browns and the Jets are over the last 5 or 6 years. It is a quote unquote Tiffany franchise. It has an exciting young rookie quarterback and some really talented core players, young core players. Joe Schoen, I think it's right not to fire him. I know it makes it a little bit janky in terms of lining things up the way you want. You want a GM and coach to be hired together typically. But I think Shane has done a good job building a nucleus here, and they just need different leadership. So that's what they're going to get. We'll see what happens.
One little note that it's like when we cry for these coaches when they get fired. I saw a tweet that Brian Daboll will make $153,000 per week over the next 2 years. $153,000 a week. Like, I just take myself to like deep Cuba or deep Costa Rica and just vanish and just have like set up an offshore bank account and just pay me to do nothing.
Yeah, I feel like this is a bit of a Sessler trope. You always tag these conversations with this, but I don't know if anybody's really overly feeling sorry for these guys. Like, we all get it. Like, it's guaranteed money still coming their way. They're all right. And then, like I said, Daboll will be thriving again.
I'm not breaking news there, but it's just like, it's just a reality that like they will make more than probably 95% of the people listening to this by next week.
Right.
I don't know how they pay it. I don't think you get paid every week. That would be nice, but I think
Did you say $153,000 a week?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to spend it.
It's pretty good, dude.
Yeah,
it's pretty good money. Pretty good. All right. All right. One other news note, just because he's that dude, Joe Burrow. He has been designated by the Bengals to return from IR. What does that mean? It opens up a window for him to return to practice. So he begins to progress to on-field activities. He can be activated anytime in the next 21 days. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Justin, once you open the window, if you don't activate the player by the 21 days, then his season is over.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. So
it shuts.
Yes, the goal is apparently to have him on the field by Thanksgiving in a AFC North that, let's be real, like even with the quote-unquote rise of the Ravens, the rise of the Ravens has gotten them to 4-5. The Pittsburgh Steelers trending in the wrong direction after Sunday night. I'm not holding my breath about Cincinnati having a Cinderella run here, but Joe Burrow obviously is hoping that. What do you got, Justin?
Oh, I was going to make a really dumb joke that the window may not be closed for Joe Burrow because he did say with him, the window is his career. So maybe for him,
the championship window. Yes.
Why do you
remember
preface
that quote?
a quip by calling it a dumb joke? Why?
Well,
maybe
it would have been better.
It would have been funny, but
yeah, I was gonna do
just
it
went for
right
it.
out of the mark saying the window slammed shut, but then Dan had more to add and I didn't get it in, so I had to preface it. Yeah, sorry.
Classic tough sitch. Here's Burrow. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, our division is wide open. There's a lot of, I think Pittsburgh's 5-4 at this point. We play them this week. So, everything is still there in front of us. It's very rare that our division looks like this, but it does this year. And so, I think we'll be at least in it until the end. I
mean, losing that Jets game and then losing that Bears game. I mean, to his point, they're 3-6. They should absolutely be like tied for first place right now, but they're not. And that defense, you could bring Burrow back. That defense is not, I don't think, getting any better. So,
no.
But getting Joe Burrow back on the field, Mark, that'd be nice. He's fun to watch. I enjoy watching that man play football, and hopefully he gets back healthy and can contribute something in the back end of the season.
They've had and I don't like hitting these stats because there's little EPA per play. They've been the number one offense in the league under Joe Flacco. They just had a historically wretched defense. He also, I'm watching that Burrow clip. If you're looking at this on YouTube, does he look a little bit like a hotter Edward Scissorhands, like a blondish Edward Scissorhands? Like it's a little,
hotter. I mean, Edward Scissorhands was Johnny Depp, baby. I mean, that's Johnny Depp.
I've never been a Depp guy, but I don't think they made Depp look as hot as he could as Scissorhands. But Justin wants to weigh in on this. I know.
You know who he looks like? Because this has been driving me crazy for 4 months now since Jessica and I started watching this show. That's very old now, and it's come up many times on Twitter. I'm not the only one to point this out.
Okay.
There's a TV show called The Summer I Turned Pretty, and the male love interest in this show is a dead ringer for Joe Burrow. They are twins separated at birth. It's crazy.
I know what you're talking about because, as I've said on the show, my niece Lily is a big Burrow head, and she also watches that program. And over the summer when we were staying at my parents' place, her and her sister were watching that show, and I actually thought it was Joe Burrow. So
look at you.
I was cutting that sound before the show on the couch with Monday Night Football on, sitting next to Jessica, and I just turned the screen and said, "Look, it's Conrad."
Okay.
It's just a thing we have.
What was that, Mark?
I was going to say it's a very nice moment between that you both have watched the same show together. The summer someone turned pretty.
This is something to aspire to, Mark. Just plug into different things outside your comfort zone.
I thought it was on net. I've seen like one of the like you can click on this and start watching. I think
Right.
I'll wait, but I will at some point.
I'm not saying that I'm now binging The Summer I Turned Pretty or whatever.
Sure.
But I'm aware of it. I have awareness.
But as was I.
Right.
It's on
the
Prime,
same thing with Doc.
way,
like yesterday, you were like, Doc, you guys, these updates are enough for me. Open your heart, open your mind to new things, Mark.
I will turn my heart towards network television.
I do think The Summer I Turned Pretty's audience skews fairly female, but who cares? Right?
No, Ceci likes that, though.
We love
I read
females.
Twilight. I don't care. Yeah. Whatever.
Easy, Justin. Don't say too much.
Saying.
Don't share too much about yourself.
We don't need 6 bullet points of why you categorize.
All right, let's take a break, and when we get back, let's hit them power rankings, baby.
Have you heard of Goldbelly? It's basically a lifesaver disguised as a website where you can order the most iconic foods from restaurants all across the U.S., and they'll ship them right to your door. It's perfect for hosting Thanksgiving without losing your mind. And with Black Friday around the corner, it's also a genius move for holiday gifting. Goldbelly has everything: smoked turkey from Salt Lick Barbecue, lobster mac and cheese from Maine, and of course, the mythical pie cakin'. Because why choose between pie and cake, Dan, when you can have both?
You got to take the both option. I love Goldbelly. I have a great story for you, Mark. So I used this product when my wife and I got married. We had our, the dinner that you have before the wedding, the night before.
The rehearsal dinner, sure.
Rehearsal dinner, yeah. Yes, of course. That's what they call it. We had Terry Black's barbecue in Austin, Texas, where we got married. And for our anniversary recently, what did I do? I go on Goldbelly. Terry Black's is an option, and I get some delicious brisket and some pork ribs, and I order it. A couple days later, it's in my house, and we're reminiscing about the wonderful rehearsal dinner and eating delicious Texas barbecue, and that's what it's all about. The idea that you could take this special food from around our country and bring it right to your doorstep and maybe make your wife like you just a little bit more.
Well, yes, it's the perfect way to use Goldbelly. You're a man of romance. So if you're looking for that perfect holiday gift or want to impress your friends and family with an epic Thanksgiving, go to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code HTC. That's goldbelly.com, code HTC for 20% off your first order.
Hey, Mark, the way to a woman's heart, the stomach.
It's good for me to know.
Unless you've got power!
Farbuck.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Bigger powers, yeah!
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
Category orange incident.
The power behind the power.
Now, you're playing with power.
According to Dan Hanzus' power ranking.
I like how Mark, I like how our intro has both Kevin Spacey and Kanye West in it. I mean, we're just missing one. We're missing like an Adolf Hitler clip, and we're like totally.
I could think of a few people, but you're right.
Hat trick, baby. Spacey. All right. Let's see. The power rankings, Mark. And we haven't heard from Farbuck for over a month now, which is a good thing.
I think we've been sound in our rankings, our measurements, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it could mean also that something has happened to Mr. Farbuck. That's possible. But I take it to mean that we've really locked in on our rankings, and I felt confident the last few weeks overall that we were trending in the right direction. So let's see where we're at as we head to week 11, starting with tier 1. Here we go. The first quadrant. The LA Rams. Welcome to the top of the power rankings. Look at Dan and Sessy.
We're on the look at that.
Kissing cousins in a big spot. Moving the Rams. This is the first time the Rams are first in our power rankings. Connor and Justin had them at 2. They're up 3 spots. Okay. Number 2 in the power rankings. Okay. The Seattle Seahawks. I believe that's where they were last week. It was where they were last week. Connor had them at 1. Justin had them at 1. I had them at 2. So the reason they're not number 1 is because Sessler dropped the Seahawks. Like, didn't you have the Seahawks at 2 last week? They were up 35-0 in the second quarter, Sessy.
It's because I see other rising powers. I really think the Seahawks are a fantastic team. If Farbuck calls me about that, I will have a strongly worded response for him.
I'm just really surprised you watched the action this week and you said, I got to slide down the Seahawks.
Well, there are a couple other teams that dropped some bombs, and so it made me think about the complexion of the entire league.
Bigger bomb than 35-0 early in the second quarter? I'm stunned, Mark. Stunned. I'm not questioning your process. I'm just wondering if you know what you're doing.
They're just at 4. That means they're a conference
Justin, you
title
surprised
team.
by that one? That one really. Of
course he is.
Did that cost them number 1 potentially?
Yes. Well, if Mark had put them at 2, then they would have been tied with the Rams. But based on the rule we came up with a few weeks ago, prior week wins,
they would have been 1.
Yes, they would have been 1.
Look at that, Mark. The Seahawks. But in fairness, we did ask Mark kindly, speaking of strongly worded statements, to stay away from the Seahawks. So maybe this was a little bit of a subtle little FU from Mark.
It was a subtle FU, and it was also a power play. It was a little bit of a mix of both. So
very nice, Mark. Number 3, the Detroit Lions up 2 spots after another brutal display of offensive violence, led by Dan Campbell calling the plays. Here come the Patriots after they checked another box in Tampa. They're up 4 spots. I had them at 5, Sessy at 3, Connor at 4, and Justin at 5. And then the Eagles, they moved back into the top 5, and I'm glad they did that because that was something I was earlier tonight when I was putting the final touches on my power rankings. Originally, I had them outside the top 5, but I just started thinking about what we were talking about earlier in the show. It's like you put the Eagles in a huge spot. You put them in an alley fight. You put them up against any of these teams in this top 8. Are you going to be surprised that the Eagles are going to come out on top?
No.
The Eagles find a way. So I had them in the top 4. Sessy at 6. Connor at 7, Justin at 4. They come in at number 5. The Colts win in overtime in Berlin, and they move up 1 spot as a result to number 6. The Bills take a big dirt nap here. They go from number 1 down 6 spots to number 7. Sessy has them almost out of the top 10 entirely, and I get it. It was an ugly game, Mark. It was an ugly game.
I need to see a change in the wins. I don't trust them right now. And I didn't say wins, but the wind. They're a strange team. And I really, even also today, studying some of the post-game stuff from Buffalo, hey, Josh Allen, let's up the pleasantries. Let's up the leadership. Let's get the fire going. I see a guy who's down right now. He's down. I see it in his Q&As.
What do you think? He's quietly having some issues with the offensive scheme or the locker room? What are you basing?
I think there are issues. I think there are issues on that team with the offensive coordinator. He's also, he's a lot's going on in his personal life. I think good things, but he's, he suddenly has more to handle than in the previous. I'm digging too deep into it, but just let's get going here. Even his grandmother, as I said, was saying
all right, Mark.
Put a little smile on the face.
A little call to action from the Cess Dog in the biggest of all spots.
Yeah, it's now or never.
The final team in the first quadrant is the Denver Broncos, a grisly win on Thursday night, but a win's a win. I had them down a spot. Connor has them at number 6, which surprises me because he is no Sean Payton fan. Justin had him at 9. Mark had him at 8. They are 8 in our power rankings at 8-2. All right, we go to tier 2, and there are the Kansas City Chiefs. They fall out of the first quadrant, down 6 spots. I don't know, Mark.
Well, Connor is largely to, if we were to point a finger, he puts them at 11. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
We all have them much lower than last week, and they didn't play a game. But the Bills, who beat them, like, is there a question to be had that maybe the Chiefs are the 9th best team in football, and that's a pretty good place to be, but it's not the best.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're the 9th best team in football. I don't. But I do believe they should be in tier 1, but I understand all the teams that we've talked about already, why they're ahead of them. So the Chiefs, I guess, have entered into a place where, they've lost a fair number of games this year, and they're going to have to start winning some of these one-score games that they won at a historic rate last year, and it's just the opposite is happening this year. And before they went into that bye, they had a very disappointing performance against the Bills, obviously. And yet they are still ahead of the Chargers, another team that beat them this season. The Chargers are up 4 spots to number 10 after they spanked the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. The Bucs drop just 1 spot after they get humbled at home. The Ravens are up 4 spots to number 12. This is a little high for me, I got to say. I had them at 15. Sessy, you had him at 13. Connor's got him in the top 10? Yeah, at number 10? I don't know, man.
I think it's wish casting because we just assume they're going to keep climbing and we look like we're ahead of the game, but I'm not wish casting this.
I see that way of thinking, but at the same time, you got to look at the games as they are. And while they took care of business against the Vikings on the road, I didn't think, it was the most impressive win that would send them jumping into the top 12 the way they have, but they have. So there you go.
Well, tell Connor and Justin that because they've ranked them in an absurd fashion.
Yeah. I don't think it's absurd. I mean, I don't think right now, after what we saw this past weekend, that I think if the Ravens and the Bucs played right now, I would pick the Ravens. I would pick them over the Niners. I would pick them over the Bears. So I feel like, I don't know. I mean, if they come out and prove that the last 3 weeks are not who they really are, then we'll adjust. But I feel like they're, like, the second half was pretty impressive. The first half, yeah, they struggled to score points. But, like, they look like the Ravens that we all expected to see back in August. So I don't know.
I would have liked to see them close out that game with the ball in their hands. That was the one thing I was missing, I thought, at the end of that game, but they got the defensive stand. And then to that point, though, beneath them in this tier, it starts to get a little murky. So the Packers are a perfect Twilight Zone team, number 13 in the power rankings. Who knows who the Packers are at this point? So you just stick them at 13 and go ahead, go have fun and beat up the Giants if you can even do that next week with Jameis Winston or whoever starting at quarterback. But we're in a hold on the Packers. The Niners down 3 spots after they get beat up badly by the Rams. We're not buying in on the Bears yet. Okay, so we keep them at 15 after their comeback win over the Giants, while we also understand now, like we said, they are ahead of the Packers in the standings. We still see the Bears as a lot to prove. I get that. And then the Steelers, we did a nice job, Mark. When the Steelers had that big win against the Colts, their previous game, a lot of people were jumping them into the top 10, all these Fugazi power rankings out there. We kept them right where they were at 13, and we said, let's see some more, and then they fall on their faces at SoFi on Sunday night, so we drop them 3 spots to 16. Nice job by Heed the Call.
Yeah, across the board. It's the perfect spot for them, the perfect home. I don't believe. I'd leave it there.
Yeah, like they're the classic. Are they the best bad team or the worst good team? I don't know. We'll stick them at 16. Move to tier 3. All right, now it gets into a different area. I'm already pinching myself with excitement, wondering where my New York Jets are. Jets haven't lost in 3 weeks. We had a win, we had a bye, we had a win. Where does that get us, Mark?
I think you probably won over the entire crowd. Like, it's not in this tier, obviously. But,
we're not in tier 3,
but
so
who knows,
that's the goal. If we can get to 24, that would be great. Anyway, the Texans have a big comeback against the Jaguars, and we're almost in Connect 4 lockstep on that one, up 5 spots to 17. The Vikings, obviously, they can't quite get it figured out, and 9 wasn't able to spark them at home against the Ravens. They're down 1 spot to 18. The Falcons would have made a big move up this list if they could have just gotten that last stop against the Colts. But that's what the Falcons do. They don't get the big stops. They don't have the big moments. They shy away from being interesting when it comes down to it. So they land at 19 on our list. The Panthers, I still couldn't believe it when I saw it on the Sunday night show, Mark. Panthers, 7 points and a loss to the Saints. Why even be in the league anymore? What are we doing?
They're the perfect example of what this season is, where it's like there are teams with split personalities, and I think we're allowed to on Sundays uncover a game that we didn't know existed, and that was the one for you. And I think you picked a good one to not know that it existed when you.
And my life doesn't feel any worse for it, to be honest with you, Mark. The Jaguars, they blow one to the Texans. They had a big lead. They give up 26 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Go away. You're unserious. Down 2 spots to 21. The Cowboys on bye, 22. Look at the Dolphins. Got to give credit to Mike McDaniel, keeping that team focused. They're up 4 spots to number 23. A little rich for my blood. But again, Connor has them higher than the rest of us at 21, which is the reason why they're not behind the Bengals, who are at 24, up 1 spot in the rankings. I saw you chuckle there, Mark. Is it just Connor?
I wonder if Connor is doing power rankings from a time travel angle, like from 2 weeks from now, where like he sees things that we've not seen, because you and I seem to be, we've placed these teams like almost in the same place, and then Connor suddenly is like 21, and we're like, okay.
But you know what it is, in a way, also, though? It is because that's Connor in general, right? Like one of the great things about Connor is you name the topic, he's gonna have a slightly different viewpoint on it.
Yes, he is.
than the common man, and that's why we love Connor.
It absolutely is. Like, it makes this exercise twice as enjoyable. So
absolutely, maybe thrice, Mark.
Thrice.
All right, to the fourth quadrant. This is where you don't want to be, and let's see where my Jets are.
I feel like you're saying my name a lot, like during this exercise, which is
undefeated in the last 3 weeks. The New York Jets, the Cardinals down 4 spots after getting mollywopped by the Seahawks to 25. The Commanders, it's all sad. 26. The Giants, that's even more sad. Fired their head coach. They're down to 27. The Raiders hold at 28. What is that? What does that sound?
Is that our Connect 4?
Yeah, that's the Connect 4 drop.
For the Giants.
Second Connect 4, so it's the second time I hit it.
Wow.
That's a nice drop, played Connect 4 probably 700 times. That's the sound that we're using?
Yeah, it's like all these things that have to line up. Bum, 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 bum.
I get how the game works. I think we've all played the game.
No, I'm describing the drop. It's like bum, 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 bum. All these things lining up. And then the last sound at the end is the sound of like when you pull the slot out of Connect 4.
No, I like that. No, I like it. It's a good job,
Justin.
Kind of reminded me of Tetris also.
Tetris? Yeah, it had a
good ass game.
Yep.
Big Russian product to that Tetris, Mark.
Good at playing.
That might be a good long form over on I Dream in Red.
Yeah,
just like a Tetris retrospective about like Mother Russia stepping up in a big spot.
Yes, you understand the publication, and I think that's the content we're looking for. Well, I'll get to work on that.
Oh, break out the New York Jets. We move up another spot, slowly but surely. If only the season had another 29 weeks in it, maybe the Jets would get all the way to the top. But they'll take one move up to number 29 on the rankings. Justin just being a dick, putting him at 30, not understanding that the Jets have won 2 games in a row, sandwiched around a bye. We're getting close to like a month without a loss. I mean, if you really wanted to start doing the math, actually, let me look this up. This is important. It's Monday night. We got nothing else
and
to do.
And if not to be morose, but if a 9/11 type event occurred and they had to cancel a week of play, it would be a month, and it would be Jets world.
Mark, everything you said was absolutely spot on, especially the 9/11 reference.
I'm just saying that would be the only way you cancel a week of football, but it would get us there.
I just want to say Justin, this is for you.
Yeah.
On October 19th, this is the day of the sad Jets boy outside MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford. The Jets were defeated by the Panthers 13-6 to fall to 0-7. October 19th. It is now November 10th. The Jets have not lost since then. And yet you find it in your heart. You find it in your heart necessary to keep them in the 30s. And I just think there's some self-reflection that needs to be done on your part.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback. I did put New Orleans at 29 and the Jets at 30, probably influenced by having to cover that Saints game yesterday. So that could be the bias that I am a victim to.
Right.
And
10-19, Mark.
Well, and to be fair, they play the Patriots on this team on Thursday night. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mark.
That's why I'm saying a natural disaster probably will be required to have them have a month of nothing but victory.
Yeah, that would be necessary. Somebody's got to pull a whole bunch of fire alarms. The Saints at number 30, the Browns. There you go, Mark. This is what I know you've been wanting. You wanted to be old hangdog Sessler on the Browns. Everybody look at us. Woe is us. Cleveland is a factory of sadness. Why won't we get talked about the same way? Well, there was some insane stat about your Browns, Mark, that I wish I had for the show yesterday, but I'm going to look it up now because Rich Cimini.
It was the yardage or points given up.
It was a Jets stat from last season, the type of stat that Dan would read on an almost weekly basis last year about the Jets.
Right, making like history. Week after week with just insane stats. Let's see, because of course the Jets had the kickoff and punt return against the Browns, and literally nothing else really. How unlikely was Jets 27, Browns 20? Since 1950, teams had been 225-0 when holding opponents to 175 or fewer yards and not turning the ball over. The Browns were the first team to lose in that span. And, for that, you get to drop to 31, Mark. Congratulations.
When you are tanking, that's an achievement. They pulled off a similar stunt in week 1 against the Burrow Bengals when I think they allowed 5 yards in the second half or something like that. It was obscene, and they lost. So it's an obscene way to live, but, it's a trait.
Titans were in lockstep. They stay at 32. There you go, Mark. So the Browns are going to end up they got a bunch of first-round picks also, right? They're going to take a quarterback this year.
I think so. It depends where you have to be literally the worst. Well, maybe if the Titans are the worst.
Here, how about this? We'll give you the first pick. You give us the 4th pick and the 19th pick, and everybody wins.
Yeah, I mean, depending on we'll discuss in April, but depending on the quarterback, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
But I feel bad for that person that you send to Cleveland,
What's your lowest, you have 2 first-round picks, Mark?
Yeah, they've got the Jaguars pick and their own.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the Jaguars pick ends up being 20.
Mm-hmm.
And the Titans called you up and said, we'll give you Cam Ward for the 20th pick.
No.
What on earth are you smoking, Dan?
What?
Cam Ward is the future of Tennessee.
Why are you talking to me? I just proposed a trade. He's the one that dismissed it out of hand.
A trade that would never be proposed.
And yet it was on this show just now, and Mark said no to it. What does that say?
Groundbreaking.
What if I offered you a 2, Mark? Or I say, give me a 2 for Cam Ward. Would you give me, if it was like the 34th pick or whatever?
I don't want to be involved with Cam Ward from what I've seen. So it's like I wish him well, but Justin's probably more well suited to whistle smoke up his butt than I am. I don't know.
I'll give you a 4th and a 6th with a 7th coming back as well for Cam Ward.
No.
This is ridiculous. This is silly. Let's see what happens when Cam Ward beats your Browns in Week 14, Mark.
Well, I hope
Bang.
that happens.
Actually, I don't want that to happen.
That happens. So
I don't want that to happen because I want the number 1 pick. So yeah. But by the way, you're still coming on Music City Audible that week, right, Mark, to preview the game with us?
Lock him in. When you have a chance to lock in Sessler, lock him in.
Yes. I mean? What day of the week is it, or when is it? I'll happily do it.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
What is that, like 3 weeks away?
How much? What's the duration of the interview or the talk?
20 minutes.
Sure.
Unless you want to stay for 30, then we could do 30, but you don't have to.
20 to 30.
Can you get a voice memo, Justin, of call the other Justin from the Titans podcast and say that Sessler turned down Cam Ward in a conditional 7th for a 4th and a 6th, and I just want to hear his thoughts.
Okay, here's what we'll do. I will play that clip on our Titans pod tomorrow, and then on Wednesday we can circle back to it.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we need to circle back to it, but
I mean, I can get Justin to talk on the podcast.
But maybe when you have Mark on the show, like an hour or 2 of his appearance,
right? Put a bow on it then. Sure.
That's a good call. See the end?
Sure.
This is why we all make such a great team.
What a squad! Hey. Thank you to everybody. We love you. We love your support of us. You keep it going. And, you'll never have a blackout with our show. You know what I mean? Because we know that you guys keep the lights on. No. We appreciate the people that support our product. So thank you. We'll be back on Wednesday. Great timing. James Palmer will be joining us, the insider extraordinaire with The Athletic. Our former colleague, and we're going to revisit the hot butt rankings from last August, talk about a little Daboll, talk about what's next, who could be going next, all good stuff. And so make sure you're there for that. Until then, Mark, any final words?
Well, I think, some people are jumping out on their teams and let's go do other things with our lives. No, the adventure has just begun. Stick around.
Well said, Mark. All right. Until Wednesday, do what you must. Heed the call.